Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Modern Day Spiritualist. I'm your conversation leader, Zokai, the Modern Day Priestess. And in today's episode, we're going to be chatting about emotional healing with Candice. And Candice, welcome to the show.
Hey, Zokai. How are you?
Great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here.
I'm so glad you can make it because I think this is a for a lot of people watching because this is one of I think the biggest obstacles and setbacks that a lot of people have, blockages, that's the word I want to use. This is one of the biggest blockages that people have, and they don't know why they can't progress and move forward. And it's literally because they haven't healed. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and who you are, and then we're going to get into it.
Okay, my name is Candice. I'm 30 years old. I just moved to Houston from Chicago. I did nails in Chicago. I'm hopefully trying to get it started back in Houston, but
Mhm.
I've been doing nails since 2018, and I met Zokai. When did I meet you? Back in
Girl,
2020.
don't give me the line, child, because
I
I don't
want to
know.
say I met Zokai in 2020, and we've been locked in ever since I got my first reading from her.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I'm my booze. So let's get into it. What is emotional healing? Because I think that is healing is definitely one of those buzzwords, and people always talking about emotional this and emotions and all this stuff. But for me, it's the process of acknowledging, allowing, accepting, integrating, and processing painful life experiences and those strong emotions. What would you say it means for you on your journey, emotional healing? What did that mean for you?
Well, as to just being a Cancer woman, they say we are the most emotional sign.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like in the last couple of years, like especially like with me knowing you, Rena, and meeting you, I've been learning to control my emotions because I learned that I react off of how I'm feeling at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn to stop doing that because it can get you in some trouble, I'm gonna say. But as far as now, like I'm just learning how to like feel what I'm feeling now
Mm-hmm.
and letting it go. Because me harping on my emotions all day long, it just puts you in a bad space. But for me, it's just learning to control them and feel the emotion all the way out.
Yeah, so it sounds like you've learned how to have self-control when it comes to your emotions and how you express them,
Yes.
because you definitely should have your emotions, and everybody is entitled to feel how they feel. I When I'm in relationships with men, this always comes up. I don't They have a bad habit of telling you how you're supposed to feel,
Oh
and it
yes.
grinds my gears. Don't tell me how to feel. I can
Yes.
feel how I want to feel because I'm having my own experience. Now it may not always be the most productive way for me to feel, but
Yeah.
it's my feelings and I can have them. And it all depends on how we express them and how we, like you said, accept them and let it go. And so that's integrating, your feelings and your emotions, and that's a part of the healing part of it. When you can do that part, you're on the right track to healing. But why do you think people downplay or really don't put a lot of importance on emotional healing?
You know what? That's a question that I have too, Rena, because I mean, it's okay because I'm not gonna lie. The last relationship that I was dealing with, the person I was dealing with, he used to downplay my emotions a lot and try to tell me like, "Oh, that's not how you're supposed to feel." And it's like you said, how can you tell me how to feel? Like I feel like a lot of people that I deal with are emotionally unavailable for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very emotional person, so I need somebody that's gonna be there for me emotionally because I like to express my feelings all the time and I want somebody that can do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that emotionally unavailable people, I think they are people who have not properly healed in that area.
Yeah.
What you think? You agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, and so it's like, because we don't always deal with the background shit that's going on in our lives, we don't think is that important. But that's the stuff that's, really moving our lives forward, is that background stuff that we don't pay attention to. And people don't, well, now shadow work is a big thing, right? And so I think that part of shadow work is a part of the process of emotional healing. Everybody just needs to do that. Do you think that when you were going through your process of healing, and I'm talking about the most recent event, we don't have to talk about it in detail here, but that most recent event, do you think that when you started to heal, that you went through the 5 stages of healing, like the grief and denial, the anger, the bargaining, depression, acceptance?
Oh
Did
yeah.
you go through? Yeah.
Each and every one. Each and every one. But I feel like I'm still on that road to healing. I haven't fully healed because some
Mm-hmm.
things I do still think about, and sometimes I find myself like overthinking a lot of certain situations when it comes to it. Like, say when I'm walking out my door, I get paranoid, or I just start, looking around, and I have to tell myself, Candice, just calm down. It's gonna be okay. You are okay. So I'm like, moving forward, like as each day goes by, it gets easier and easier for me. But I always still reflect back to those situations. But I think I've heard you say this, like for every negative thought, think two positive thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So I always try to switch my mindset as well, from thinking the negative and more of the positive.
Yeah, and then also we have to remember, because I'm gonna add to the list, surrendering to the process. And a
Mm-hmm.
part of the process and surrendering to that is understanding and knowing that it's a process. It's a journey. It's not gonna happen, overnight. It ain't even no real time frame that you can put on, certain things. Just know that the process works. And if you're seeing improvements, and I tell you this all the time, if you seeing progress, you're doing the work. That's a good thing, to see the progress. And
Yeah.
a lot of times we get caught up on the final destination, but it's the journey and what's happening during that journey that really counts, and is really building your character, right?
Yep.
So definitely surrendering to the process.
And since I
What?
moved here, I
Mhm.
didn't mean to cut you off. Since I
No, go
moved
ahead.
here, I've definitely, like, especially with my son not being here as well, like he moved back to Chicago. But with me just being here alone, I have more time to myself to like process things a little bit better without
Hmm.
any like other distractions. So it's like, since I've been here, like I would say that my mental and emotional emotions have gotten so much better because I'm allowed to have my alone time where I can process things. Like,
Hmm.
I've been getting, gaining my weight back, eating just much happier than I was just a couple of months ago. So I think too, with me just, having this fresh start, that played a role in how I'm feeling today as well.
Yeah, sometimes we definitely need to have a change of scenery. Sometimes we need to just, move all together and have a fresh start, period. Like, really give yourself the opportunity to recreate your life. And
Yeah.
what you went through was extreme. You can share how much you want, but it was extreme. And so sometimes something like that does require a big life move. And sometimes, now this might be a little controversial. Sometimes our spirit guides and the Most High will allow certain things like that to happen to us, because otherwise we'll stay in the same place and be stagnant and not, get to where it is that we really need to be. It's like that wake up call, instead of
Yeah.
you getting up when your alarm get off, you keep hitting the snooze button, and spirit's like, no, it's time to get your ass up, so they pour a bucket of ice on your head, right?
Yeah.
But moving and getting a fresh start and relocate, sometimes just the location geographically plays
Yeah.
a part, in healing. Even and just when you're trying to restart and do something different, or when you need a boost of creativity. I know for me, when I fly and I'm going to another place, I get all kind of ideas on the plane. Like I get my best ideas and I do my best thinking when I'm flying to another location.
Mm.
So I definitely understand what you're saying about getting that fresh start. What's the number one, or what's the one thing that was imperative for your healing journey?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna say moving, because if I don't know where I would be if I was to still be in Chicago. Like, I was just talking to my mom about this, and I'm like, I think this is the best thing that I ever did for myself, because at the time when I was going through depression, it's like being in the cold in the winter, like it's always gloomy. That really brought my mood down, and like how I felt down a lot. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, since I moved here, the sun, I mean, granted the weather changes, but the sun shines every day almost. The weather's nice. It makes me want to get up, go out and do things, or just even just be outside, just enjoying, the nice weather. So I feel like what was imperative was for me to move, because even when I go back to visit, I still have that eerie, weird feeling of, looking over my shoulder, just not feeling comfortable. But as soon as I
Mm-hmm.
land back in Houston, I'm okay, let me go on about my day. So I feel moving was the most imperative thing for me on my emotional healing journey.
Okay. I know some people, they don't even know what it looks like to be unhealed. Can you speak to that? Like, what does unhealed look like versus being healed?
Okay, so I can speak from myself and my own point of view. So from unhealed, I know the old me was just very like reckless. And I would say reckless as far as like my mouth. Like, I would say whatever that I wanted to say out of my mouth, not caring how somebody felt, just all over the place, not having no type of structure to my life, or like no type of, I had no guidance either. I'm gonna say that too. So it's like, now that I have started my emotional and my spiritual journey,
Mm-hmm.
I feel that I've calmed down so much more. Like, I'm just much more patient, much more humble. Like, I think things through. Like, I would say that's my version of unhealed versus healed for
Mm-hmm.
me, because I just know how I used to be a couple of years ago, and I just don't want to be that person anymore. Like, I'm really trying to like change my life around and do right by other people too, because I just wasn't always a great person either. And I feel, not saying like how you said, like it takes some things for to happen for us to move forward. I feel like those things did happen for me to change my life around.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's huge. Like acknowledging that you wasn't always the best, person to other people, because I know a lot of people that are just like the unhealed version that you said, and they don't think nothing wrong with it. They think they just fine and everything is good. But what we always hear, and I feel like that's exactly what you were saying, is hurt people hurt people. And when
Yeah.
you start to heal, you realize like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that. So that was huge. I'm proud of you for that. I
And
know
I
this
wanted
ain't
to add,
your session, but I'm proud of you.
thank you. I just wanted to add too, like me and my mom, we have this conversation a lot. Like, growing up, my father like used to like dismiss my emotions a lot. Like, say that I'll go and be like, "Hey dad, look at this," or "Hey dad, this." He'd be like, "Go on, go ahead, go," like
Mm-hmm.
dismissing me. And the older that I got, like I did started to realize that, and I've had conversations with my mom about it, and she even apologized for the things that she didn't do, as far as like having like the sex talk with me, or just things that I feel like a mother should have talked to me about. She never did, and which is why I feel like the unhealed me didn't have any guidance, or like nothing. So she apologized for that, but I haven't really spoke with my dad about how he treated me, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's the last part of my emotional healing journey that I need, is to get that clarity from him.
Yeah.
But that was really, the icebreaker for me. So maybe I do need to, have a conversation with him to get move forward, and maybe that'll be the end of my journey, because I'm kind of like scared to talk to him about it because I don't know what he will say or how the conversation will go. But as being a kid, like he dismissed my feelings a lot, and I feel like that has affected me all of my years, up until now.
And sometimes it takes us. We think we starting on one thing, we working on one thing, only to realize, like, man, this go even deeper than this isolated event. It's really all connected. So for me, I'm amazed that you got that deep, on your own, because some people will just kind of focus on the one thing that they supposed to be working on and don't get to the part where they go even deeper. That's how you know you really on that journey for real.
Yeah.
And I heard you mention that you started your spiritual journey along with your emotional healing journey. How has that been for you? Like, how has your spiritual journey helped you in the healing part of it? Like, what's that look like for you?
So for me, especially like being as intuitive as I am, I'm just learning to follow my intuition when it comes to a lot of things. Also, like just talking to my ancestors and things of that nature. Like being in Houston has not been the easiest thing for me in the last couple of months. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've been through my trials and tribulations, but I never lost the faith. I'ma say, like, I pray, I meditate, I sit at my altar and talk to my ancestors, and they have really came through for me since I've been here. Like anything that I've asked for, I have gotten. Like I haven't went without
Mm-hmm.
at all. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm grateful that it came at the right time. Like me starting my spiritual journey, it came literally at the right time.
I'm telling you, and I said this earlier. I did an episode earlier with one of our other inaugural sisters, and I said this, and I'll say it again, that the ancestors and our spirit team, they know exactly what we need when we need it, and they come through. So light and progress, to your spirits, because the healing journey is hard. It's
Oh,
hard. It's
oh,
difficult. It's many times that just want to give up, especially when it feels like it's not getting you anywhere. But to know that we always have our ancestors, we always have our spirit team with us, because it's a lonely journey. And
yeah,
for you, you're experiencing that in the physical because you're in a whole new place by yourself.
yeah,
But that might be exactly where they want you, so you can start building that relationship with them, which is what you're doing. And you're starting, and you said yourself, you never gone without. And
yeah.
that's so important, that no matter what we go through, to know that my ancestors are never going to let me go without. They always got my back. Like, people need to know that for real. um
And being on my spiritual journey, I feel like I said it came at the right time. Like I think I told you this, but I even tried like therapy, and I feel like just being on my spiritual journey has helped me more
mhm,
than therapy. Like I'm not gonna lie, when I was going through depression, I was having like suicidal thoughts, like
mhm,
just just I was literally all over the place mentally. Like my mind was just not right. But starting my spiritual journey and just like I said, tapping more in with myself and talking to my ancestors and meditating and praying has changed my life for the better. And I'm grateful that I started my spiritual journey, and I'm grateful for meeting you as well, Zokai, because you
mhm.
have literally being in your mentorship program. That was probably the best thing for me. Like, I really lost a lot of people, like friends. Like, I feel like I was so alone when I was going through that. I only had y'all, my sister, Nikki. Like, that's it.
Mhm.
I really didn't have people that understand what I'm going through and understand me spiritually, who I could talk to as far as what I was going through.
That's important, having a tribe around you that supports you and understands what's going on, because they're having their own experiences too, even though, each one specifically may be a little different, but at the core of it, it's all the same. And
Yeah,
I always say, I'm big on treating the whole person. So you need the spiritual piece, you need the social piece, you need the family piece, you need the therapist piece when you get the right therapist,
yeah,
You need all of it to treat the whole person. What advice would you give somebody that's just kind of starting their healing journey?
Well, number one, I would say just be patient with yourself because
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to, happen overnight. It takes time. Two, I would say pray, meditate because it works. It really does work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just things may not happen right when you want it to, but it's gonna happen exactly at the right time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we know that our ancestors have given us these ancient tools for us to use, even though they were alive thousands of years ago, and we're learning how to integrate those